PlayStation releases great games.
PlayStation.
Hello and welcome to CrossButton, our fortnightly deep dive into all things PlayStation. I am your host, Dan, and I'm giving a big PS high five to the other two resident ponies joining me this fine day. It's the ever-dual sensible Heather and Laurie. Hi guys, you okay?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Full disclosure, Heather's hungover, so, if at any point during this she starts vomiting or peaky, then that's exactly why.
It's good. I've had a nap and a piece of cake, so I'm ready to
The
roll.
last episode that I was really hungry. This is like a
Yeah, I
recurring
think
theme.
so.
Next time, Dan, that's you're the one.
That sounds like a threat. What's your hangover technique, Laurie? What do you do to get rid of it? What's your process?
KFC. Usually.
Kindred
KFC and
spirits.
McDonald's is usually the go-to.
Cool. Talk me
Or
through
just a can of Coke at the very least.
can of Coke. It's flat Lucozade
yeah.
for me. Flat Lucozade. Orange.
Mine's ice cold Pepsi Max
Okay.
and
No, you need the
shower before bed.
The showers
It's what
work.
Absolutely,
I agree with that.
always does it for me. Yeah.
Yeah, completely. And what was the cake? Just while we're on that same headspace, I need to know.
Oh, my little granny made my dad a big chocolate birthday cake. So it's like 5 layers of like chocolate moussey sponge with cream in it.
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yep.
I like how you said your little granny, suggesting that you have a big
Yeah, she's
granny
only
somewhere
little.
else. You have like a big one, and then you have a little
Yeah.
one.
But they used to be different heights, but now they've both shrunk because they're old, so they're both the same small now.
She can evolve. That's the way of thinking about it. So we're going to jump into some housekeeping before we talk about the lovely Horizon Forbidden West, which is playing at the moment. What you're watching is the first 25 minutes of that, depending on how long we talk for. Cyberpunk Remaster, it's first item of business. Loz, have you jumped into this yet?
I have, and I've been very impressed.
Really? Okay, cool. And were you expecting to be impressed, or were you maybe going to be negative about it? What were your thoughts?
No, I was hoping. I think I was expecting it as well because I played it day one when it launched years ago, literally years ago. I'm thinking, and I was really hyped for it, as I believe you were as well. Looking forward to play it back in, was it 2000 and I don't know when it was now, 2020.
2020.
And it was obviously a huge mess, I could use all sorts of bad words for it, but it was in a bad place. And after so long, and I think it was 14 months between then and now, I was hoping it was going to be a lot better, and so I was very pleased to see that it now does work.
Does seem to be a bit of relief. Are you tempted by it, Heather? Have you played this already? Not tempted.
Not tempted at all. I played same as Laurie, but yeah, I actually got it as a gift because I was like, I'd come round to the fact that I wasn't going to enjoy it by the time it had come out, but I'd been like on the hype the whole way, so I got it as a gift, and I was like, okay, I will play it, and I probably played the first maybe 8 hours or so.
Okay.
It's definitely the first few missions, but I just have absolutely no desire to go back.
Okay,
I don't
interesting.
like any of them.
I played probably about 3 hours on day one, and then took it straight down to my local CEX just to get the money back before it plummeted in price because I could see what was going to happen. So I'm pleased I can rebuy it now for 20 quid everywhere. But it's not just the stability of it, which is great now. It's just it doesn't crash constantly, and there's not constant glitches and bugs and stuff. They've optimized. There's just 6 loads of things. Like there used to be like stuff you could pick up everywhere, and with a controller it was quite awkward to look at the thing, to pick it up and to see what it is, and it was invariably a dildo or something really childish and annoying. You think, for fuck's sake. And I didn't realize that all of that's now gone. They've taken all those objects out because the devs were like, oh yeah, people were just spending far too long just looking in every drawer for just like Fallout style, just looking for everything they can put. So they just got rid of it all. So it's great. Now you can just focus on what you're supposed to be doing rather than having to sort of be like a magpie just looking for shiny things in every room you're in. So stuff like that, and the UI is fixed, and the HDR seems fixed. Like there was areas before that I just could not see a thing, no matter how much I played with the brightness. It was just pitch black screen. So I was really relieved when I played the trial. I was like, oh, I can actually see this now, and I can read the menus, which was something about this tiny red text on a black background. I was like, this is like some sort of cruel eye test they're making us do here to read any of this. It's all of that kind of quality of life stuff, which baffles me how it shipped in that state originally, but. Yeah, I'm glad that you can now just play it and actually enjoy the actual game itself and not get completely distracted by all the crap in your way.
I'm not overly fussed on playing it. I think it was similar to yourself, Heather. I played it for maybe like the first 3 hours, and it was like enjoyed it. I wasn't encountering any breaking bugs. I've spoke about it many a time. I did encounter the issue, well, not the issue, but the lack of development where you can turn around and you can see a car just disappear behind you, and just like again, it just makes no sense. So I think there are some things that I was a little bit like jaded over that I'm not really. I don't know. It's once bitten, twice shy, I think, in terms of my time. So I'm just I'm holding off a little bit. I was going to say, graphically, Laurie, is it updated much, or is it a pretty game still?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it runs in 60 frames now, and the resolution seems better. It just looks a lot cleaner. It was very kind of lots of jagged edges, lots of fuzzy edges before when you played it at launch, which because obviously you're playing the PS4 version. So it just looks a lot sharper and cleaner image. It's just the way I can describe it. I haven't played around. Apparently, the ray tracing is just doesn't really do much in the game. So it's all about the 60 frames per second way of playing it.
Fair, cool. So I'm just hunting down what's coming out in March, just so we can have a quick chat about that as well. I'm going to bump to the PS5.
That driving one, isn't it, that people want to play?
That's Drivey Boy in it. Drivey Boy's out. Drivey Boy 7. So I'm going to whiz down it. Again, I'll pick out the ones that I actually know. Babylon's Fall is coming out on March 3rd. We've got March 4th, which is GT7. Either of you into racing games at all?
No,
not really.
Shockingly, no.
Only Diddy Kong Racing.
Only did, yeah.
And that's just got a banging story mode. But
I like Crash Team Racing is where I'm at.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm there with you. Valhalla: Dawn of Ragnarok. Are you tempted to jump into any of the DLC, Laurie?
I think I've had my fill of Valhalla. I've played a lot of it already now. I only played the Paris expansion not that long ago. So I might play this one. I don't know. It depends when they announce another Assassin's Creed game. If there's like another Assassin's Creed game later next year, then I could probably see myself playing this at some point between now and then. But it's not going to be anytime soon if I do. Played a lot of this game quite recently.
There's a little known game coming out on March 15th called Grand Theft Auto 5 on PS5. Anyone jumping into that?
No.
No,
it's been awkwardly quiet.
No.
Do not think, considering
Has to be a
it's
bit.
next month. Not even next. Like it's not even a full month. It's like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Who hasn't played that game that wants to play it? I don't understand.
How do you advertise the game that everybody knows about? It's quite funny. I'm sure they'll find a way. On March 18th, Stranger of Paradise Final Fantasy Origin. I'm actually quite tempted by that game. I might see how it ends up. On March 25th, we got Ghostwire Tokyo. That's quite quiet as well. Like, we've not really heard too much about Ghostwire yet.
It looks really good.
It does.
Yeah.
Proper
I've seen more
arcane
recent
style.
like murmurings about it in the last couple of weeks, but I think everything's just been overshadowed by Horizon and Elden Ring.
Yeah, absolutely. March 25th, Tiny Tina's Wonderlands is out. That looks quite interesting. And that is absolutely everything I've got for March. And obviously, you said it there, Heather, we've got Elden Ring, haven't we, in, what, a week?
Mm-hmm.
Less than a week now?
5 days?
5 days? Friday? Sunday today? 20th we're recording, yeah. So yeah, Elden Ring. So anything notable that you guys are, in fact, fuck it, what are we even talking about this for? We know we're playing Horizon, we've got Elden Ring coming up, Laurie's got limited time, Heather's hungover, and I've only played about 25 minutes Horizon, so I can't really talk either. Okie dokie, so that's everything we've got on the releases. Now we're going to quickly jump into what we bought and what we're playing. Any notable pickups this week other than Horizon? Anyone picked anything up? Any bought anything? No?
Nope, just Horizon.
Just Horizon, and I probably will buy Cyberpunk.
Okay,
Maybe.
cool. Yeah. Preemptive buy, I like that. So I picked up Control on PS5 because absolutely everybody in the group was, and I felt peer pressured, even though I got it on PS4. I don't know why I did that.
What a
because
move.
you lent me that copy back in the day.
I did.
The PS5 version is a remarkably better game.
Is it? Right, okay. Well, I'm looking forward to jumping into that again. Thanks to everyone else for making me spend 20 quid, but it came in Amazon today, so I was pretty happy.
It's well worth it.
I love that game.
Oh, yeah, it's a banging
Very
game.
good.
So cool. Such a weird, wonderful, strange story as well. So, but I want to jump back into it so I can play the Alan Wake stuff, because I loved Alan Wake. So there you go. And just notable mention of I'm playing this on Switch at the moment, but Slay the Spire is available on PS4 and PS5. Go and play that game. Absolutely amazing.
I said I just think of one recent pickup, but if you want to come back to me after you talk about
No, I'm all done. If you want to jump into yours.
Death's Door. I picked that up
Okay.
at the start of the week, and I thought I don't have much time to get this in before Horizon, but I didn't have anything to play, so I thought, well, I'll play what I can of this, and then I'll come back to it after Horizon. So probably about halfway through it.
It's so cute, isn't it?
It's such a nice little game. It's really good. Really impressed by it. It's quite hard for me. I don't really like.
It is hard. It is hard. Genuinely,
it does respawn you. There's no loading again after you die, and you can get straight back to where you were within a few seconds. So it's very much when you die, you know what you did wrong, and the combat is fair. It's challenging, but it's fair, and you think I can do it. I know I can do this, and you just keep plugging away at it, and you do eventually do it. It's incredibly satisfying. So.
Yeah, it's, I remember getting killed by that house near the start, and I was just like, "Fuck this game." So yeah, what am I doing?
The boss is so funny. The granny.
I love Granny. Yeah, she was boss.
It's very cool.
Is she like your little nan?
She is, but my little nan's less evil. She's not making people into like pots and shit.
Well,
she's just
as
making
far as you know.
Right, leave each other's nans out of this, guys. Come on, please. Jeez, wheeze. Right, let's jump into the main dish now that we've gone through all of the releases that are coming out. We've all been playing Horizon, so just full disclosure, I've only played about 30-35 minutes of it, so I'm not going to talk too much about the story or anything in there. We're going to avoid spoilers. Heather, how long have you played this game for, roughly now?
Probably about 8 hours, maybe. I'm just thinking I can actually tell you, can't I?
You can?
Through
Cool.
the app.
Well, while you're looking on the app, Laurie, how long?
I thought it was about 3 hours, and then I knew you'd ask me this, so I checked it a minute ago, and it says it's 5 hours. So that's
5. Wow. Okay.
I don't know what happened to those other 2 hours that I was just thinking.
Okay, so I'm waiting for Heather to find via the app now whether or not she's got our hours.
I don't even know if it does tell me.
You think roughly about 8 hours, so
yeah, I would say so.
We'll go with that. That's fine.
Yeah.
So let's talk about a couple of different things. Mainly, I want to kind of go through the opening a little bit because I think we've all kind of had a similar kind of response to that, and the way the game opens up maybe is a little bit jarring. I think, Laurie, if you want to start with that first, mate.
Yes, I was just really confused by the opening. This is a series that's like probably their best open world type game, like really vast open world. And it doesn't give you that when you start off. It's more like an Uncharted game to start off with, where you're sort of funneled through this little valley and waterfall bit. And I won't try and get spoilers here, but you're kind of in an Ancient Ones facility type place.
Watch it on the screen, so it's fine.
Okay, so you're looking for you're looking for something, and you want to just get out there and just start fighting dinosaurs, and it's just very slow and just plods along a bit, and lots of stopping and talking cutscenes, and then it does get to a boss fight, which is absolutely awesome. But then after that, you're back in another talking bit, and you have to walk around talking to people for ages. And you're just like, oh, just let me play this game. I just want to run around and start picking up quests. And
so, I was going to say, since you've kind of like covered off the aesthetic of the intro, can we just talk a little bit about the DualSense and what your experiences were with it? So I'll very quickly give mine. So the opening, you see all these different mechanical dinosaurs running, and the DualSense vibrates in a very specific way for each of them. And I was like, that's really cool. Then I went down a zip wire, and I was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever felt through a controller. My hand was literally vibrating off it, and I was like, this is absolutely amazing. It reminded me of when I played Golf Story, and it's just a really aggressive vibration through the Joy-Cons. So I got that kind of same sensation, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. Nothing's going to be. I'm going to talk about that on the podcast, like speak about that with the guys later. And then I pulled back the bow for the first time, and I was like, what the fuck? This is so cool. Have you kind of had a similar experience with it, Heather? Has it been a moment of like next gen kind of dawning on you, or were you kind of just like, yeah, me?
No, I think I had a milder response, but I do know exactly what you mean. Like, there's definitely an extra level to it because of that, and there's a moment where you're scaling a massive structure. And you have to do, like, I think it might have been the zip line, or it's at least crumbling, and it's that crumbling you can kind of feel. And I thought that was really like impressive.
Cool.
Yeah.
And in terms of the opening, obviously Laurie and I have said we've had like mixed feelings on it because it doesn't exactly throw you into what you expect, and it felt a little bit like the old Horizon game for me, like an extension of that game rather than a brand new game. Did you feel the same way, or you were maybe a little bit more enamored with it?
Well, no, I wasn't bothered by it. I was a bit sort of concerned that it was going to be like a little. I suppose we're showing the first bit out me now, so
Yeah.
I was concerned it was going to be like a buddy movie, and I was like, I don't want this. Don't make me romance people as Aloy, like nobody. So it's obviously the tutorial wrapped in the exposition of the previous game, and I think having played the previous game and we all know it quite well, it was kind of like a cold open. But if you haven't played and you're coming in it straight standalone, it does give you, I think, enough of the information to get a sense of what happened previously, of why she's got none of her gear, considering she was basically Jesus after the last game. And she's like, "Oh, I ran into trouble, so I don't have it anymore."
That's hilarious. I mean,
Okay.
like every sequel needs a kind of explanation as to what happens to all their stuff and their skills.
Yeah.
She's like, I just lost it.
Yeah. I went to jail.
Still good
like,
I fell off.
robbed.
I forgot it.
Yeah.
Went
Got
to
robbed.
jail and it was robbed. Went to gym class. It's gone.
Yeah.
So
Left it on a train.
Yeah, well, I've done that before. Not with a bow and arrows. That'd be a bit weird. It is very on the nose. I think like the first couple of, like, say, like obviously 35 minutes, 45 minutes, where it is just trying to teach you all the mechanics. This is what the enemies look like. This is where you can cover. This is what you use to craft. It kind of ticks off all the things in terms of what it needs to get people up and running from it. So in terms of aesthetics here, like, have you guys noticed like anything where you've gone, wow, that looks absolutely gorgeous?
Everything.
Everything. Okay.
Everything. So I'm playing in. I think we had this conversation in the little chat because we had that funny color popping thing, which is kind of, I think they've mentioned now and patched some stuff for it. But so I'm playing in the. I did check right before, so I wouldn't forget. But I have forgotten. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
They're not 60
frame rate or
frames.
resolution. That's your options.
So because it didn't really make all that much difference, and it was just sort of less smooth, and I kind of like the less smooth, really. So everything. Just I keep wandering around. That's why I didn't really mind the beginning, because I was just wandering around like, she's so beautiful. Look at that tree. Look at that sign. It's all so amazing. So yeah, but I really liked the little sort of video that separated the ride out to the first big outpost
With the music.
Yeah. Like the little sort of like music video section. I thought that was boss.
The opening credits, but
I was just kind of like, oh yeah, this is cool. Like, it's setting up a vibe. It had some nice music on. It was like all the terrains, and it was just sort of showcasing all the cool sort of weather that was going on, and you kind of got the sense that we are going on this big out west journey, and it's not just like, because the map is massive for the original game, and going to the frozen wilds kind of felt like you were just popping round the corner, even though it was just like
snowy all of a sudden.
Snowy, and then you were like, oh, all right, cool. So yeah, I like that, but visually I've got like very, very few issues.
Yeah, so I think, Laurie, you kind of said like you were the first person to notice it out of the three of us in terms of that colour popping. Just explain that a little bit for us, just what you were seeing on the screen.
So the image looks fine, and then as soon as you start to move the camera, the colour just bleaches out of everything. And if you're moving the camera even a little bit, just panning it around, lush colour, as soon as you stop, completely bleach, and it would change the colour, and it'd be really jarring. And I searched on Twitter, and lots of people having the same problem. And it was only in the resolution mode, so someone pointed out to me, it's something that my TV was doing where it was sharpening the image, which, like I say, it was just the settings that I always have on the game mode on the TV, and it looks great on any other game. But for some reason on this game, something they've done to it, was mean it was just something was going on the sharpening. If I turn the sharpening right down, it looks fantastic.
Yeah.
So that kind of solved that. So I think that might have sat with the opening for me as well, because as I was going through it, I was like, that still doesn't look right, still doesn't look right. And I was still tinkering with the settings and stuff. And I've landed on the resolution mode, and I did find a new setting on my TV that kind of smooths out the motion when it is on a lower frame rate. So it does look really nice now. So I can get the resolution mode and still have quite a smooth looking frame rate, which seems to be the best of both worlds. So yeah, I'm really happy with how it looks now, and the HDR looks really nice. The color settings look really just ridiculously lush, almost where I think I need to tone this down because this looks too colorful. But yeah, some of the vividness of the colors and stuff is absolutely gorgeous to look at.
Yeah, it's ridiculously good looking game. I think so. Positives of it, the facial animations and even like the blemishes that they put in skin. I've got a lot of time for that, because as a person that gets quite a lot of skin blemishes and gets out the bath with bright red face, it's quite nice to see that in a game and go like, all right, okay. I'm not saying about representation in a game, but like genuinely it's nice to see like people with actually bad skin. And it's nice to have a protagonist that isn't just like Hollywood to the nines as well. Really like that. Which is what I think Horizon's meant to be there about, isn't it? It's a dystopian future. It's not exactly a nice hunky-dory story.
They don't have their factor 50. They can just slap.
They don't know. They haven't got.
It's really good. I'd like that she's got sunburn. I think that's just really clever.
You can't have like
nice.
You can't have all the frozen wilds and all the Forbidden West, and then just have a Kiehl's around the corner that you nip into for your face cream. It's not going to really work, is it? I love that. I think the game itself, the lighting in it's stunning. I mean, we're looking at it on the screen at the moment, and just the graphics is insane. It's going through like really lush foliage. Just gone through that part, where there's something's gone through with a load of like toxic, and it's poisoned a load of people and killed a village. So it is absolutely gorgeous to look at. I didn't get the issues when I was looking at when I had it in resolution mode, because I don't know whether or not I've just got like game mode or something switched off on my TV, therefore it wasn't showing it. I didn't have any issues there. The only thing I have had a little bit of a problem with is just the traversal in it. So we're going into points now where you can start to grapple, and I've not got to that yet. But within the first, obviously 35 minutes playing the game, my previous concerns, or not concerns, but previous criticisms of Horizon was I just played it immediately after playing Breath of the Wild and being able to traverse everywhere, and that kind of feeling of like absolute freedom in a game. Some people didn't like it. I loved it. It did feel a little bit on rails, certainly for like the first 30 minutes, and I was like, really wish they'd shown me what they're doing that's cool about the new mechanics. I just don't think I've gotten to that part yet, and I'm assuming that's going to come quite soon in terms of what I can do in terms of traversal. Is that the case? Have you guys been introduced to any of like the new stuff yet, like the parachutes or any of those things? You've got them all in your arsenal?
Not beyond the grapple.
Okay.
And that I know what you're talking about. That is quite some annoying, like fiddly climbing, and once you've passed that bit, I haven't had to climb anything again since then, and yeah, it's more enjoyable. I don't have a problem with not being able to climb everywhere, because you can't do that in real life anyway. I'm not against the idea of handhelds and things. If you're climbing a wall, if you go rock climbing, there are only certain points you can climb. And there is a setting you can change a setting on the accessibility, so it just shows you, because you can scan for the focus to see where the points are you can grab onto, but you can just have a mode where you can just have it so that stuff just shows automatically all the time anyway. And I'm like, well, just turn that on, and then it'll just be obvious, and you don't have to kind of keep faffing around clicking in the focus button to scan, because you just want to see where you can climb and where you can't climb. So I don't know why you just turn it on. Like Uncharted does it with having like yellow paint. Really obvious, slightly ridiculous, but I just show me where I can and can't climb, and I'm not going to just have to guess, because it's not particularly obvious. You just probably spamming the focus scan button.
Yeah, that was my only gripe at the moment was, like I said, just some of the traversal parts. Obviously they're going to come in a little bit later. I'm just disappointed they weren't in that intro. And then in terms of like the colour of the corruption as well, it's like very similar to the foliage that you can hide in, in terms of like the...
Oh, yeah.
And her coughing really upsets me. When you go in the corruption and she starts coughing, I'm like, oh, run away. I just like feel really bad for her. Yeah, and I'm just like, darling. Oh, your asthma. Like trying to get her out of it.
Blemish child.
Yeah, my
Yeah.
child. That made me
So
feel
I'm
bad.
colourblind as well. So
Okay.
I can't tell the difference between like the blight
Oh
and the
God,
colour.
yeah,
So I
yeah.
was like, why am I dying in a bush? And then I was like, oh, I'm not in one. That's why I'm just breathing in
Interesting.
the poison.
So have
Oh,
you played
nice.
around with their colorblind settings? Because a lot of games now they have really good colorblind settings. Don't they?
I do
Or supposed to, I
for
don't know.
SPS stuff, and I did a little bit for The Last of Us. But I haven't for this yet. It's normally not too bad, and to be honest, where I'm up to anyway, there's not been super loads of blight to be particularly
Okay.
concerned with. So I've not had much of an issue.
Talking about mechanics, have you switched on the motion aiming on the bow and arrow yet? It's just
I haven't tried it yet.
absolutely so good to do that.
Is it okay?
It's just because I don't like aiming with stuff with a joystick. I don't like first-person shooters. But when you can just use motion just to kind of fine-tune it, you get your stick to kind of where you want it, and then you can just use the motion just to fine-tune the exact spot. Which, because when you're trying to pick like canisters off the back of the things and stuff, when they're moving, if you just use the motion controls, you can kind of track their movement much easier than you can with the stick, and it's such a game changer for combat. You just feel so much more badass because you can really target things properly.
I was going to say, do you remember Heavenly Sword on the PS3? It was one of the launch games for it, and that had motion controls in it as well. And it was whenever you fired an arrow off, you could go slow motion and like guide the arrow in the air using the controller. And I was like, that'd be so fucking cool in this as well. If you could have been able to do that, it's like a special kind of like, I don't know, a special arrow that you get later on in the game. Maybe they do. I don't know. No spoilers. I don't know. Final gripe, just when you're near a massive group of like, I don't know, foliage that you need to collect to make health, just let me pick them all up at the same time. Don't make me press like triangle and like try and position myself in a certain way.
Yeah, that'll continue that issue.
Yeah,
There's
okay.
a lot of pressing triangle in this game. You press a lot of triangle to collect it.
Yeah.
Just, I mean,
like the window for it is so small.
it is, isn't it? Even
And
when
it's the same as like when you're talking to people.
exactly.
I think they'll patch that. I think they'll patch it.
Yeah,
Just can see them.
Bigger radius, please, for that, because that was a little bit silly. Literally all the gripes I've got, and I still will maintain. I can't wait to. I'm just thinking about this game constantly. I was like, right, I played maybe 45 tops. I know I'm going up here in time. It's because I'm probably watching more than I've actually played. But it's just getting to the point now where I'm like, right, okay, you're introducing me to something that's actually quite interesting from a story point. Plus, Aloy as a character is so compelling to me. I can't get why people think she's boring at all. Really don't get where that's coming from.
I get it in terms of like, I just wrote my dissertation on women in video game narratives. So I've recently played like in the last 2 years, like something like 11 female-led story-driven games or featuring female characters. So I've seen loads. And Aloy is one of my absolute faves because she's a bit of a narky bitch, and she's not super appeasing and having a laugh and having a great time, and that's why I particularly really like it, and that's one of the things that stands out from being very different to all the other characters that feel more dynamic. I say feeling, because they aren't the sort of, I don't want to say like manic pixie because obviously they're not, but they have those elements where you mix like, if you mix like Lara with like a Harley Quinn attitude, you get like Chloe from Uncharted.
Yeah.
You mix this and that, you get someone else. But Aloy is a much more better rounded character in my opinion.
Yeah, I absolutely get what you're saying there, and because she'll kind of help people, but begrudgingly. Whereas like normal characters in these sort of open world games, they just collect quests just for the fun of it. They're like, yeah, what do you need? Okay, I'll do it. You're like, no, why are you helping this person? You've got a busy, important task to do. You've got to save the world. Don't go and look for this person's cat or something stupid. Whereas Aloy's like, I just want to get to where I'm going, and someone's in her way. She's like, oh, fuck's sake, all right, I'll help you, but just get out of my way. It's just the whole attitude. And when people like try and help her, she's like, no, I don't want your help. I can do this. Just get out of my way. It's she's so kind of bloody minded and not. Yeah, we kind of expect female characters to be kind of a bit kind of nicer and friendlier and just
softer, and they're either your mum or they're protecting children, or they're like, honestly, I could go on a boy for hours, but Aloy's literally just like, nah, sod it, I'm gonna get me a dinosaur and I'm gonna ride off in the sunset and save the world.
Yeah,
and it's because how the game it picks up kind of after where the people talk about how the last game ended and how she just kind of took off on her adventure, and she's like, "Yeah, get over it." Right? And everyone's like, "Oh, I can't believe you left us." She's like,
it's like, get over it. You
do
let
with
me
it.
be an outcast for 25 years, so maybe I
there's
don't
people
like
just-
being around people.
People try to like romantically chat to her. She's just like, "Mate, I've not got the time for this now. Just do one." And it's just so great, like to just to not have just not got any time to be nice to people, or trying to sort of help save their feelings and stuff. And I think people playing that, it's just like, oh, that's not what women are supposed to be like.
Yeah,
But it's kind of similar to like Abby from The Last of Us 2. She's pretty much identical to Ellie, so
yeah.
there's no reason to not like Abby if you like Ellie, but she's also less inclined to be kind, nurturing. But then obviously it does go on because there's like Lev and what have you. But especially in the beginning, she has very similar sort of attitude to not really being asked.
Yeah.
Oh, let's just do another pod one week just talking about how awesome Abby is.
Oh my god, please. She's my fave. I'd love to.
Anyway.
We could do like a special ladies one for whenever they do the celebration of ladies and games and shit.
I think we should just do it whenever we want to, rather than wait for a celebration.
Do it.
And that's not just me saying that to pander, but I genuinely am interested by it, because I think I'm curious to hear the examples of where women in games, especially modern games, aren't up to snuff, and where we can be, can do a little bit better. But bringing it back to Horizon, it does. The part I was going to say, I love she's not equal with everyone. She does have people that she likes more, and you can tell that in her reactions. It's very well directed in there, kind of like the dialogue and stuff in terms of what she does. But I'm excited to see kind of how it pans out as we meet more people that she likes. So, anything else to add, guys, in terms of Horizon at this point? Are we powering through it this week? Have we got a lot of time committed to playing the game?
Yeah, I've got tomorrow off work to play it.
Nice.
Oh no!
I like that dedication.
I like to take some time off, just like in February when it's sort of between Christmas and Easter, just when you don't go on holiday. So I just take some holiday days randomly, just here and there. So I was just like, oh yeah, I'll use one. I can just play this all day when the kids are at school. Ideal.
Perfect.
I just wanted to say, if you kind of picked me up on some of the things that I don't want to just talk about the negatives on it. This is, once you get past the opening section, your title screen runs and stuff. If you're playing it, just get through that bit, because then after that, when you get into an area called the Daunt, which is kind of where the game starts properly, I just say it's so good. It's so compelling. The gameplay, once you are let loose to just play the game, and you can just wander around, and straight away you stumble upon just groups of robot dinosaurs. Then you find settlements, you get given quests, you get sent around, and it's just like that loop of you meet someone, they need something, help them, you go and collect stuff just so they can craft some gear for you or whatever it is that you go out and do something, and it's just I love it. And every time you have you come across some combat, you can be stealthy, you can do range, you can do melee, you can just really mix it up in mid-battle. It's really satisfying, and it will never get boring, that slow motion using a bow and arrow to pick off canisters off the back of the dinosaurs, the robots. They're not all dinosaurs, are they? The robots, and just getting fights with them. And it's never a waste of time as well, because you'll always get good resources and you always get XP, and it's just always fun to do as well. So just that gameplay loop is just so satisfying, and you're doing it in the most kind of beautiful settings and surroundings, and the quests is there compelling you along the way as well. So yeah, I don't want to talk about the negative opening, because that is over quite quickly. Just power through that, everyone, and just get onto the good stuff, and it just gets so good.
Oh, lovely explanation. Heather, anything else to add, or?
No, I totally agree with Laurie. I'm literally still in the Dawn, so I did the opening probably like speed around the opening. And I was like, let's go. So I've probably like 8 hours just in the Dawn. But I am a do everything kind of gal. I'm like, what's over there? What's over there? I'm going over there. So I've done loads of that stuff and chatted to like everybody that you can talk to, and it's a joy. But we should mention as well the swimming, because that's one of the new big shiny bits. So you don't get to do too much. There are a few sort of underwater caves and mines around in this section, so you do get to do a bit of swimming, which is good. Like, controls are good, feels good, the water looks good, and I'm excited for the rebreather reaction.
Can I shout out the mocap on her swimming is amazing. Like
Yeah.
when you watch it, when you think back to how like you see like Lara Croft swim or Drake swim or other games
Like a
when you see
dolphin.
swimming, and it just looks just like so fake and just
Yeah.
like it's absolutely amazing how she jumps into water and then gets into a swimming position, and that is a really good haptic feedback as well. When you just feel when she sort of the thrum of every time she sort of takes a stroke in the water. Yeah, that is a real technological feat, the underwater stuff, and I'm not even into the kind of coral sea bits yet where it's going to get stunning.
Yeah,
Just in some
can't wait for
some
that.
dark caves, it just feels amazing enough just the feel and the look of it.
See, I'm absolutely loving the fact that you wanted to go back into the positives of the game. And to be brutally honest, like I said, I just didn't even think that way. I was like, yeah, I'm just really positive about it anyway. I know it's going to be great. All the things that I wanted from it, it looks fantastic on a really modern TV. I think in terms of the actual the combat, and it's just insane. I'm just watching a fight that's happening here in terms of fighting against one of like the liney kind of creatures. Can't remember what ones they're called. It just so fluid, and the movement in it is just so much better than the original as well. So yeah, I can't wait to see exactly where it goes and where the story opens up as well. So
You mentioned one thing before as well about the face capture, motion capture, the faces, and I think because I came from playing Cyberpunk where they do look like mannequin like, in that.
Yeah.
It's kind of par for the course in Cyberpunk. It looks like Fallout. It looks like video game faces for side characters anyway. Not anyone, not the main cast. Whereas on this, anyone you talk to in a shop or anyone, they just look so good. The facial animations, and they just look so realistic. The faces. It gets me really excited for like what graphics are going to look like over the course of this generation.
it's going to be scary. You're going to be put your face in the game soon. But Soph was going like, oh, you know, in games when she was watching, it was like, never really get trees right, do they? And I was like, for me, it's always eyes. Like they're always like dead eyes in games. Yeah, teeth as well, like dead eyes in games, and like elbow creases, and just the things that are like, yeah, just normal about life. Yeah, exactly. But I was just like, well, they've got blemishes and they've got good eyes, and the eyes look alive, which is weird. And then so it was like, oh, the trees look okay as well. It's like, there we go, we're winning. It's good. But yeah, this is a really imagine this has come out right at the start of the PS5 generation. Really, when you look at it, what's to come is just going to be absolutely insane. And then hopefully as well, we get some decent DLC where they really like squeeze every bit of juice out of that console. So good on you, Gorilla. Great start. Cool. Heather, where can we find you online?
You can find me on Twitter at Hevtins.
Wunderbar, wunderbar. Laurie, where can we get you, mate?
Thanks, Dan. You can find me at the Eggman64 on Twitter.
Wonderful. And that is your lot for this week. You can find me at Downward Tweets on Twitter, or you can go onto our link tree, which you can find through the Twitter account. And that'll take you to all of our different places, including patreon.com/crossplayers, where you can throw us £1. I think. I can't remember. It might be £2 now. I don't even know anymore. You can join the WhatsApp group, which is always hilarious, or you can just come over to the Discord, which is free. And we have an absolute ball over there. We've recently boosted the server. Still don't know what it does. I know we've got an animated logo. That's pretty much it. And slightly better video quality on some of our pods, which we now have on Spotify. You can watch the Spotify video if you download that app, or you can go over to YouTube as well, youtube.com/thecrossplayers, and you can find this podcast in video format there. Guys, wonderful as normal. Have a wonderful Sunday evening, and thank you very much. Enjoy Horizon.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you. Thank you.
Au revoir. Peace.
Bye.
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 Bye.